Thank you for tuning in to TalkWad.com, the world's fastest growing internet radio network. Please check out all the other great shows on www.talkwad.com.
Yes. Great frequency, great song. Thank you, Adam. Thank you for listening to Talkwad Radio. We're live again. It's our Thursday night I Am Frequency show. My name is Alan. I'm your host. So good to be here, helping to ardently desire, sincerely believe in, enthusiastically act upon, and inevitably come to pass a higher frequency. To my far left is Maureen Payne. As
Hello,
always.
Alan.
How are you tonight, Maureen?
Absolutely fabulous as usual.
As always.
Yes.
And in our middle is a very special guest. But before we bring up this guest, we have to let everybody know who he is. And he's got a credentials 4 pages long. I'm not going to read them all, but I definitely want to take time to give him the proper intro and bring him on, because when this man speaks, people listen. And he's going to be great for the I Am Frequency show. As everyone knows who watches us once in a while, it's all about raising your frequency, raising your consciousness. It's not AM, it's not FM, it's the I Am frequency, taking responsibility for your own thoughts, your own empowerment, for the people who want to make a difference in this world. And I have a question for everyone tonight. For you to call in right here in Studio 2, 727-493-2055. Our call-in number is 727-493-2055. And call in if you think that we are becoming desensitized as humans, or if we are becoming more enlightened and more aware. I like the latter. But this story that I pulled for everyone this week, and Maureen, you and I know that we always come up with nice stories for everyone. And Winston, our special guest,
yes,
you'll enjoy this too, because your products help raise everyone's frequency and helps them to become better aware organically. Just a little hint there. But this story is a real story. It is documented, and you can research it for yourself on the internet. A man sat at a metro station in Washington, D.C. He was playing a violin, and he was in the subway, the metro station, where people are zooming by. And if you've been in those places, which I have, people are zooming by. Well, this man was playing 6 pieces of Bach music for about 45 minutes. During that time, which was rush hour, it was calculated that thousands of people went through the station, most of them on their way to work. About 3-4 minutes into the second 20 minutes, a middle-aged man saw him playing, slowed up, but didn't stop, and dropped in some money into his bucket. But he ran off to meet his schedule. Then a woman came by and dropped some money into his bucket, but she didn't stop. She kept on walking. No one stopped. It was interesting that people who paid the most attention to him were the children. In particular, there was a 3-year-old boy who stopped, turned around, and stared at this person playing music on the violin, Bach nonetheless. But the mother turned him around and hurried him away. Finally, the mother pushed harder because the boy kept turning his head and rushed him off. Absolutely all the parents did this. All the parents did that to their children, giving them no time to appreciate the music. So here's the moral of the story. In the 45 minutes, only 6 people stopped and gave money. Everybody else walked. No one knew, but this violinist's name was Joshua Bell. He's one of the top musicians in the world, and he was playing one of the most intricate pieces ever written on a violin worth $3.5 million. He was playing a violin worth $3.5 million, playing Bach, the most expensive music ever made. 2 days after playing in the subway, Joshua Bell sold out at the theater in Boston. The average seat price was $100. Wow.
Yes.
And he was playing free for everyone in the subway. So our question is, and this is organized by the Washington Post as a part of a social experiment about perception. And we have the Course of Miracles, which Marina is going to touch a little bit about before we bring in our guest, which is all about perception, how we perceive things. So the Washington Post, as a part of a social experiment about perception, tastes, and priorities of people, outlined in a commonplace environment at an inappropriate hour, do we take time to perceive beauty? Do we stop to appreciate it? Do we stop to recognize it? Wow. According to this study, we do not. One of the most best written pieces of music played on an expensive violin by one of the most touted young violinists. Did I say that right? Mm-hmm. In the world. So with that said, we just want to put that out there. Call 727-493-2055 and give us your input on that, as well as how you're taking the time to raise your frequency. I know we're taking the time to raise our frequency. And before we bring on our guest, Maureen, a little note about the next A Course in Miracles.
Yes. All righty. Course in Miracles meets every Wednesday at the Center for the Divinely Guided, which is 4345 Ridgemore Drive North in Palm Harbor, Florida. And the zip code is 34685. And we meet every Wednesday at 7 o'clock.
Yes. And you can actually click on the show and see a couple of those. As always, in any event, the more people, the more powerful. So feel free to come to that. So without further ado, I have in front of me a brief overview of our guest. And it's 4 pages long. I don't know where to start, but I want to take time to do this right, because this is quite amazing. And Winston Gao is an American-born Chinese. His father, Chongqing Gao, that's Gao, it's spelled K-A-O, but it's pronounced Gao, is the inventor of the Chinese teletypewriter. His grandfather was a silk merchant who automated the silk growing and harvesting methods. And his great-grandfather was a rare brain surgeon in China in the early 18th century. And it's nice that you can trace your roots back that far. And even though you were born in America, Winston grew up in Japan, Hong Kong, and Taiwan, although you've spent most of your adult life here in the United States. Now, I want to continue because there's 4 pages here. He's an amazing human being, including being in the Navy for 4 years and serving our country as a dental technician. But it's way better than that. Winston majored in biology and chemistry in the University of Miami. He went to the Vietnam War. He interrupted his studies to do that, and we thank him for that. He found himself working in the U.S. Navy's medical and dental facilities in Taiwan. While in the military, he began to observe nutritional deficiencies in servicemen from all walks of life and all ages, which started leading him on his path and extent to questioning the nutritional truths of the day. So with that said, he continued on his journey after his 4-year tour, continuing to the United States, continuing his studies at Sonoma State University, where he researched nutrition, agriculture, both as they relate to humans and animals. Even more interesting, he started to resolve the problems of lowered immune systems and the increased frequency of old age diseases occurring in younger generations. Hence, for anybody listening tonight, you're about to learn probably more than you've ever learned in your life about water. The goods, the bads, the ins and the outs, specifically ideal earth water. So I'm going to end with this because this is pretty powerful. We don't have time to read all this, but 25 years, agriculture, animal husbandry, wastewater management, global environment, decontamination of the soils, the oceans, the rivers, and the lakes, human health. In 2006, you invented something called Rest Easy, an antioxidant, hormone balancing, anti-inflammatory natural tonic, which also handles sleep. There are currently doctors and patients across the world using this. I know we had somebody from New Zealand call up earlier, and she's sleeping at this time, so she's going to miss us, but she did call.
Yes, indeed.
That was Sandra. What is her name?
Dr. David Kulsa.
Dr. David Kulsa called in from New Zealand earlier, so we're sending out love to her because she's going to watch us tomorrow. Thank you, Doc. And tonight, besides your other products, we're going to be concentrating on the Ideal Earth Water. But you're currently owner and senior research of Ideal Earth Water, and you're dedicated to raising the standards of existing organic food, as well as promoting healthy environmental stewardship of the planet. And before we give you a big round of applause, I can't help but think that the little acorn is nothing more than the mighty oak tree that held its ground. And you've been holding your ground for a long time, and let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much.
That was the longest introduction I've given anyone in a long time, but you are so worthy, and we're so happy to have you here.
Thank you very much. Very appreciative. So what would you like to know?
Well, a couple of things. One, and we're going to ask to roll the tape. We've got a PowerPoint that people can observe while we're talking, because as an hour show, we can give them some information this way, and we've got a special call to action for your products. What I love about Winston is he not only gives good products, but the research and the data behind it, and he's going to give you products by calling in. Basically, you're just going to have to pay for shipping, but he's going to give some products and information and a gift coupon for his water systems, which he's also developed. So we're going to get into that. But before we do, I literally want to ask you, right now you run 3 companies, idealearthwater.com, gobeyondorganics.com, turbochargedturmeric.com, and we're focusing on Ideal Earth Water tonight. But really, when you're talking about health, my question is, you can't separate them, can you?
No, because they all relate. So whenever you talk about health, it includes water, the food that you eat, the air that you breathe, the vitamins that you take. They all play a part of your good health. And to the degree that you actually don't make it and you use the wrong things, wrong types of water, you end up getting sicker. And everybody's heard live water, dead water, living water. Well, why do they use those, live, dead, or living water? Well, because water is different.
Right.
By at least those 3 categories. And, of course, it's much greater in complexity. And today, as we talked earlier, that we were going to go through some specific things.
Yes, which I'll get to. But you know what? Another thing that we tend to forget is 70% of our body is made up of water.
Right.
So you can say this show is about raising your frequency, the IM frequency, to drinking more water, the right kind of water, and digesting, not just drinking the water, but setting up the circumstances where your body digests it. So let's cut right to the chase, and I want to ask you this question. Fluoride. How bad is fluoride? What is it doing in our water? And what can we do about that? Let's just start off simply with fluoride.
Well, we're not going to try to convince people that fluoride is bad. We're only talking to the people because fluoride is bad. It's one of the world's 3 most toxic elements on the planet, right? Number 1 is arsenic. Number 3 is lead. And number 2 is fluoride. So why would you add fluoride to your drinking water if it's one of the 3 most toxic elements on the planet? Okay, it's a political issue. So this is the problem. If you just take a look a little bit about the history, who put in fluoride in the water as number 1?
Who did?
Hitler.
Oh.
And he put it in the German concentration camps. Obviously, he wasn't concerned about the Jews' teeth, right?
Right.
He was very concerned of them escaping his concentration camps. Who's number 2? Stalin. Who's number 3? Uncle Sam.
Now, wait a minute. You're telling me that the water they used, the fluoride then, is similar or exact, or it can't be the same fluoride?
No, how about identical?
Really?
It's called hydrofluoric silicic acid. And that's what's most commonly put in most waters throughout the United States. While in Europe, there's only 3% in Spain that's still hanging on to the fluoridation. Great Britain and Ireland is still hanging on to the fluoridation, but everybody else has banned fluoride.
So don't brush your teeth with tap water. We've got our picture up right now. Brush your teeth with the correct water in Inner Garden, which we're going to talk about. But it's we're laughing, but people still brush their teeth with fluoride water.
Right. And
The Dentists Association.
I do.
Everybody does, really.
No,
Wow.
I'd get my glass of water, I'd rinse my mouth out, and yeah.
Hey, you know what? We got a call that we got to take, And we're going to come back to this, but let's take the caller. Go ahead. Thank you for calling I Am Frequency. As our special $6 health assist is up there now on the board. How are you this evening? Who's calling?
This is Sandra Cunningham,
Oh my gosh. Sandra from where?
Mesa, Arizona.
How are you, Sandra?
I am feeling so much better because of Kathy and Winston. And this hasn't been very long, but they have turned my life around and my husband's life around. And I called to say thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And how did I help you?
Well, my husband, this all started a couple years ago when we weren't even aware of the GMO foods and the chemtrails and the stress with the economy going down. And my husband got very, very ill with valley fever, and his skin was just shredded down to the bone. And of course, the doctor, they run behind. He was a very sweet doctor, but they leave the office, and I know they look up their pharmaceutical drugs to see, let's try this and that. And he came out and he said, I can't guarantee anything, but we can try all kinds of things, and maybe one of these days it'll just clear up. And I mean, like personally, I rarely go to the doctor. My dad taught me a lot about herbs. Well, anyway, making a long story short, we called Winston, and he had us try a product, and it was called Rest Easy, which Ralph today believes it's what turned him around slowly. But we weren't there. And by there, I mean, if I'm talking too long and you have other calls to take, you'll need to tell me, because I'll get talking here.
Well, that's
we
okay.
are
You know
also
what?
on a spiritual
There's
quest.
nothing better than having a person talk the truth, speak the truth, that has taken the product. We can talk all day we want here, but I Am Frequency is about that frequency. I can tell you are truly a happy customer, and we do have another call waiting, but we're going to let you finish up.
All right, I'm going to do this because I know a lot of people have important things to say about you. We started a spiritual quest as well, and what I'm going to say to anybody that's listening is, it all comes together. Your spirituality comes together with your physicality, and you realize this is a temple, and you are here to do a job, and we're here to evolve spiritually and physically. So I came into a little bit of a money, and Winston was wonderful. He wasn't pushy, but he reminded me for a couple months, hey, we talked about my water products. When you going to buy it? When you going to get it? You really need it. So thank goodness, after the first of the year, we purchased the under-the-counter, the water, the mineral water, and we tasted it, and it was fantastic. And we also started the Candida program, which I'm telling you, I'm losing cellulite. I'm not a very big person. I weigh about 125 pounds. I'm losing cellulite. I'm losing wrinkles on my face. Yeah, my skin's peeling a little bit where the toxins have come out, but I have energy. And then we started last week with the alkaline system, and that's really kicked us forward. And we feel so encouraged and inspired. I mean, it's just turned our whole lives around. And we can look out at chemtrails. We can look at what the bad things going on in the country, but you rise above it spiritually.
You're absolutely correct.
And you pray, and you come together with the people that are there, and you just...
And I'm going to go with the flow with you on that one.
That's what I want to say. It's all tied in. And
absolutely. And we thank you for calling.
There is love in your products. There's love with all the people I call in your office, Winston. And I'm going to end now, but I want to say thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you so much for calling. Wow.
You're welcome.
Wow. You know what? That's what I Am Frequency is all about, isn't it, Maureen?
Absolutely, yes.
We're so glad she called. We're so glad you're sitting here, Winston. We're sitting here with Winston Gao. The call-in number is 727-493-2055. We just spoke with Sandra from Arizona, who obviously has been touched by our speaker this evening, Winston Gao of IdealEarthWater.com. He's going to continue talking more about the water. I have two things I really want you to help me remember. Sam, the big oak tree,
Okay.
because there's a story behind that that's local. And I also want to talk about that product that Sandra spoke so highly of that she said changed her life, Winston. That was the Rest Easy, because we're giving that away tonight for our callers. It's called the Special $6 Health Assist. And we've got another caller, so just please help me remember those two things as we continue talking about ideal earth, water, and how we can change people's lives. Yes, who's the next caller?
This is Carlos Alacock.
Mr. Alacock, where are you calling in from tonight? And thank you for calling.
I am calling in from Spring Hill, Florida.
Excellent. You know what? Would this be Carlos Alacock?
This is the one and only.
I actually know you, my friend. Thank you for calling. We're so glad you've been listening. We're sitting here tonight with Maureen Payne, who is to the far left, and we've got Winston Gow in the middle. Do you have any thing to say to Winston? Thank you for calling.
Well, what I do have to say is that you had brought home some of that Rest Easy, and I tell you what, it worked awesome. Something that most guys don't want to admit, but I will. I had some gas, and after taking the Rest Easy,
Some gas.
it's like a miracle.
The
gas
truth
just
sets
went
us
away.
free, doesn't it?
Yes. So it helps you in your private life. You know what I'm
Let's
saying?
ask Winston. Winston, why does the Rest Easy, which is turbocharged turmeric, why would the Rest Easy turmeric and the water combination, why would that help people?
Oh, it's actually very simple. The Rest Easy is made out of a very broad spectrum probiotic, not the normal stuff that you get in the markets, okay? That's just lactobacillus. This is actually a broad spectrum. There's yeast families, there's fermentative fungi families, and of course there's the lactobacillus family. And these things actually help you to digest your food. You see, let's take a very simple thing. You eat a piece of hamburger. There's meat, there's cheese, there's salad dressing, there's salad, right? There's all of these things. Well, they all require a different creature to break those things down. And then their waste byproduct needs another different creature to break that down. And when they break it down, another different creature requires to break that down. And there goes several hundred processes later, you have your food finally digested. And this is the correct way to digest, is that you depend on probiotics, also known as soil-based microorganisms, that are in your gut. The very same guys that digest your food are the very same guys that makes beautiful, fertile soil. They are the very same guys that balance the pH in the rivers and the oceans. This is why the rivers and the oceans, they maintain their pH. And when a river or ocean gets polluted, their pH goes acid, like us.
And is it true that when you have a balanced pH alkaline within your body, it's impossible for cancer to live in a balanced pH? Is that true?
Balanced pH, yes, I guess I would say, because your body's supposed to be always slightly acid.
Okay.
And the balance is tricky, because when you say balance, well, your stomach pH is going to be different from your small intestine pH, which is going to be different from your large intestine pH. So the pH changes, depends on what part of the body doing what kind of job. So the pH does change. So appropriate for that area, yes, the answer is correct. But it may not necessarily be neutral. It might be more acid, more alkaline one way or another.
And is that common that the Rest Easy product
yes.
literally helps eliminate gas?
Oh, absolutely.
So, Carlos, you don't stand alone. Men everywhere can now eliminate gas. Thank you so much for calling in.
Women too.
Women too.
Well,
And you
I don't
know,
know
here
if I
at
can
I
make
Am Frequency,
any more comments on that, but
here at I Am Frequency, we always invite people to share what they're doing in the community. And we just had a caller from Arizona who's sharing spirituality in her community, and we're all about raising the frequency with the higher power of your understanding. Do you have anything going on up in Spring Hill?
yes, as a matter of fact, we do. We have started a club up there. It is called How to Live Forever Now Club.
The How to
And-
Live Forever Now Club sounds fantastic.
And
Well, how
You
can
could
we
be
reach
a-
that club? How can we reach the? We'll give you a plug here tonight. How can we reach the How to Live Forever Now club?
Well, what you could do is we have a phone number that you could reach. That phone number is 813-610-6034, and that is my number. You can reach me.
Say it
and,
one more time for us.
We'll give all the details about, we reach on Sundays, every second Sunday of the month.
And you know what? It's kind of apropos, Mr. Carlos, because with the products here, and we're going to talk a little bit about organic and true organic. With organic products and better water, it kind of ties right in with How to Live Forever Now Club. Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you again.
Okay. Wow. A lot of great callers tonight, huh, guys?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So let's stay focused because we have a special Health Assist offer by calling in tonight, or so many times people watch the show later, right, Maureen? We'll get calls all week long.
Oh, yeah.
Most people don't watch it between 8:30 and 9:30 on a Thursday night, but they'll go watch it at a later time, and we get lots of calls, which we're happy with. So we have a special code for tonight's show, Winston. Before we let you talk, I got to get this in there. If you are interested in the benefits of turmeric products, Rest Easy, Inner Gardens, and you'd love to clarify and simplify all the water confusion out there, because we only have Mr. Winston Gao, for another 30 minutes, but you can, and we have another call holding, but you can call him with the number posted at the end of tonight, or you can call right now at 727-447-2344 and leave a message, or you can ask right now for our special $6 offer. And the special $6 offer is going to get you product, right, Winston?
Yes.
Travel size product.
You're going to get 2 Rest Easy, 2 Inner Garden, which is the same probiotics, except it's just pure probiotics in the Inner Garden, and Rest Easy is probiotics plus turmeric. Plus, you're going to have my ebook that I wrote strictly to handle the confusion in the world of water.
Mm-hmm.
All the truth that nobody will tell you about, why water is good, why water is bad, why people say this type of water is really good when in fact it's really bad. It really demystifies, it just lays the truth about water. I'll give you a little example.
Please.
You have doctors says distilled water is good. Then there's another doctor says distilled water is bad. And when I meet either one of those doctors, I always ask, so which one of the 4 distilled waters are you talking about? And all you get is a deer in a headlight looking back at me, going, huh?
I think distilled water is bad. Am I right?
Yes, and so is the other guy who says distilled water is good.
So, Mr. Gao,
I knew that was
give us the lowdown on distilled water. The world wants to know.
Well, you're going to have to buy the book.
There you go. And you know what? This ebook, I've cheated and I've looked at it. I've got it right here. I wanted to ask you some questions out here. We've got another caller, so I've got to take them. But we're going to ask you some questions right out to clarify and simplify the water confusion. The ebook's right here, and we've got it with Mr. Winston Gao of Ideal Health Waters here at I Am Frequency. Thank you so much for calling in. Who's calling in? What's your name? That's a double entendre.
Kathy from Clearwater.
Kathy from Clearwater. Thank you so much for calling in and listening and watching I Am Frequency. Would you like to say hi to our guest, Mr. Winston?
Yes, I would. Hi, Winston.
Hi, Kathy.
Do you take the water products or do you take the Oh.
I actually take all of them.
And Kathy, could you please turn down your computer? It's in the background.
Sure.
Thank you. And then let us know how long you've been taking the products and what do you think of Mr. Winston?
Well, I've actually been taking the Rest Easy for quite a while, not only to balance my hormones, but also to handle, those days when, that time of the month and you're just not feeling too hot and all that kind of stuff. And it's just been a phenomenal product for that.
And how long have you been taking
it's also
that?
really helped allergies. If I take like an ounce, a couple times a day, then I don't really have any allergy problems.
Wow, that's excellent. Winston?
Yes. So Rest Easy.
You probably hear this all the time, don't you?
Of
I'm
course.
amazed. I'm amazed.
Oh, I am too. Allergies too.
Yes, well, you see, turmeric has been used by the Chinese and the East Indians for over 4,000 years for anti-inflammation. So, of course, anything that pertains to allergies or sickness or swelling, or even you bang your leg on something, you get inflammation. And turmeric is one of the best anti-inflammation herbs you can find. And it's cheap, it's not costly, and easily obtained.
Wait a minute. The product's cheap, but I don't think that your process of fermenting it is.
No, that is not cheap. That is expensive.
Because the bottles are $46.
That's right. Yeah. But you see, this is the nice thing about realizing that the basic product that's not extremely costly, you can now afford to put lots of the product in your ingredient. You see, like take example like the antioxidants. This product has incredible levels of antioxidants, but because the base ingredient is not expensive, I can put a lot of volume of turmeric in the product when I ferment it. Whereas somebody else, let's take a acai berry. Well, acai berry is at least 4 to 6 times more expensive. So when they put acai berry into a particular ingredient, they're not going to put very much. They're going to put 1-2%. I don't have to do that because my base ingredient is very cheap. I can do a lot. I can put very, very high volumes of it. So you have to understand, I'm not interested in making something that tastes good particularly. I'm interested in making something that really works well.
Right. And I don't know what that sound was, but here at I Am Frequency, we accept everything with a smile.
So anyway, the Rest Easy is particularly important to understand that it is a very, very good anti-inflammation. And as she says, it's very good for menstrual issues, right? Because it balances hormones. That's for men as well as females. And we found out by total accident that the reason many, many people have a problem sleeping is because their hormones are off balance. And anybody knows, in our environment, we have tremendous amount of excess female estrogen. And this particular pollution comes in all kinds of forms. And basically, the long and short is, like, for example, plastic. Plastic imitates female estrogen. It's a mimicking material. You get soy. Soy has very, very, very high female estrogen. Just to name a few. And, of course, the chicken meat and the beef, this all has female estrogen to make the cattle grow quicker and faster. So we have multiple sources of excess estrogen pounding our body. So it's not surprising that 60-70% of the people have problems going to sleep because their hormone systems are messed up.
Or what about the young girls who are now 8 to 13 and experiencing
menstrual issues, or getting a breast that's growing that's supposed to be around 18. They're getting it around 6, 7, 8, 9 and younger these days. It's just like it's shocking. Mm-hmm. But so the point here is this is why Rest Easy has become a very, very incredible product for many, many people because it helps them go to sleep. It simply helps the body to regulate the body. It itself has not one single drop of sleep-inducing herb, drug in any shape or form. It's totally just an assistant to the body so the body controls the body appropriately because the body uses hormones to make the body go to sleep or it makes the body get up and work. So the same product, if you take it in the nighttime, it helps you go to sleep. Take it first thing in the morning when you get up and you need to get rolling, it'll give you more energy, right? Because it's not a sleep-inducing item. It simply gets the body to regulate the body correctly.
So I guess it would be a good idea for all the people at the Super Bowl, for all the people at the Big Easy to take their Rest Easy with them anywhere they go.
That's really cute.
I couldn't help it. The Super Bowl's coming up. You know what? By the way, is our caller still on? I didn't mean to forget about her. Are you still on?
Yes, I am still here.
Well, we thank you. I guess we're going to ask you one more question then, since you're nice enough to stay on the line. Everything Winston said is obviously true, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're a happy end user. Are you using the water products too, you said?
Yes.
No.
We have a whole house water system, and I just can't tell you how, what a pleasure it is to bathe in fluoride, chloramine, chlorine, heavy metal, and arsenic-free water.
Wow.
Oh
It's like swimming in a pond. It's like bathing in a pond. And, Mother Nature wants us to have, the alkaline minerals in our water and not all the other toxic junk. And it sure is a pleasure to be able to have that water.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for calling, and you have a wonderful night. And for all of our listeners who just heard Kathy, she explained how you can clarify and simplify all of your water confusion, with Winston Gao, Ideal Earth Water. He is the founder and researcher of idealearthwater.com. We're going to ask him right now about the water for under the sink filters, alkaline water, whole house filters, and chlorine-free pools. Out of those 4 things, you actually manufacture and distribute those to people across the country, do you not?
I sure do. I wanted to set something straight, because there's a lot of people says, oh, the only way you can take out fluoride is through reverse osmosis. There's
The big RO.
The big RO system. Unfortunately, RO system not just takes not all, most of the fluoride out, but it also takes out all the calcium, magnesium, and all the other things. And now most of the salespeople selling RO water systems, they'll do this demonstration and show that there's all these flocking, floating white stuff, which are all the calcium, magnesium. They said, this is all the dirt inside of your water, and it's really bad. You see, you run it through our system, and it comes out of crystal clear water, and they drop some more chemicals, and of course, the water remains crystal clear. And they take this highly negative aspect of their water, which is a water without calcium, magnesium, without the trace minerals. And they say, oh, you can just take a vitamin tablet, a mineral tablet, and that will supplement it. That is so not true, because the water is called a hungry water. It needs to leach out any surface in order to supplement its calcium magnesium deficiency. And it doesn't care that you're going to take a tablet 5 minutes down the road or 30 minutes down. It wants it right now. It means right now means it takes right off your tongue, right off your mouth, right now. The other part of it is basic chemistry. When you take out all the alkaline minerals out of the water, you're going to end up with acid water. Now, take a pH meter, not a pH strip or chemicals. Take a pH meter and test the RO water. You will find that it's going to range between 5.5 to 6.5 pH. And if you spent $3,000 or in those high bracket for an RO water system, they'll give you as low as a 5 pH water, okay? Highly acid. You should be drinking water at least 7.5 pH for just the normal day-to-day drinking water. So 5 versus 6, that's 10 times. 5 versus 7, that's 100 times. Mm-hmm. So it's at least 100 times too acidic. So that alone should tell you, wow, that's why Americans are so full of cancer, because cancer loves an acid environment. Right? Wow. It's not magic. It's pure hardcore science. You cannot take out all the minerals and end up with still a neutral water. No, it's going to be acid. Right. So that's something basic, and that's something that you can take a pH meter, stick it in the water, and get your answer. And the reason why I also say you use a pH meter, not a pH strip, is because the strips require a chemical reaction. Well, there is no minerals in the water, so the strip will not react because there's no minerals in the water. So therefore, you'll get a false read. So that's why I insisted on using a pH meter, so you'll get the true data.
Right. So all the information that you're giving us. And by the way, could you roll the PowerPoint one more time, because we have information on there for our viewers listening to Winston Gao this evening, the founder and researcher of idealwater.com, also GoBeyondOrganic.com, turbochargedturmeric.com. The man is quite amazing, as the callers from all over the country have called in and already stated that. If you're listening tonight, or as most of our viewers sometime after this evening, during the day or whenever, watch this PowerPoint and call in on the number. We've got a special assist health offer for you this evening, which is going to include free products, which everybody's been raving about. Clarify and Simplify the Water Confusion, which is $19.95. He gave me one free. Thank you so much. The ebook, and get inside this man's head. He's dedicated his life to this information, and I'm going to ask him a couple of questions now as we continue on, and this is up there. We all know fluoride is bad. It's been bad for a long time. We know that it's in foods and waters and processed foods and meats. Let's talk about it's funny that even doctors at the National Cancer Institute have said the quickest cause of human disease and death and causing cancer is fluoride. So the number one thing that we are moving out of our fluoride water, and Winston has 4 different processes of doing this, is chlorine, chloramines. Did I say that one right?
Yes.
Heavy metals and chlorine byproducts. And here's the kicker. The ideal earth water system removes this without removing the natural alkaline and the minerals. So tell us how you take out the bad stuff and keep the good stuff. That's amazing.
Actually, it's a little proprietary technology. But I will tell you this much. There is a reason why fluoride is so incredibly difficult to take out. First of all, they highly acidify the fluoride. You see, fluoride isn't just pure clean fluoride. Fluoride comes from a combination of industrial waste. One, the original acids. That's from the heavy metal plating industries. When they plate the gold, the silver, the tin, the zinc, and all those chrome faucets that we enjoy, well, that waste acid goes to Florida phosphate mining industry. They have to wash the fluoride, the chromium, and the strontium-90 out of the naturally occurring soft rock phosphate, so the plants won't get poisoned to death. So that's how they take the fluoride out. Right? But of course, there's also all the heavy metals that came with the acid, and then there's the chromium and the strontium, radioactive material that's naturally occurring, which is also part of it. So it's this stuff called hydrofluorosilicic acid. Don't ask me to say that twice.
Nor I.
This is the material that more than probably 80-90% of the United States actually has in its drinking water. It's
and right now up on the board,
to take out.
Right now up on the board, you can see all 4 products for your home, and it's talking about drinking water. Tell us a little bit about what we should drink of the good water.
Right. So basically, you should drink water that's free of the toxins and got lots of minerals in it. Okay, that's the basic simplicity. And since fluoride is really difficult to take it out, the materials used and the equipment used is not exactly cheap. So we have designed it so that those who have a tighter budget can have just under the sink systems, which will actually take the fluoride out to non-detectable. Now, this isn't my opinion. You can do a simple test for $49, and they will test for 38 different things, and one of the things is fluoride. And they will show you that the fluoride going in does not come out of the other end. So it's not my opinion. You can actually test, get actual proof. So this is not just a claim. You can prove it, okay? This is very easily done. So that's number one, drinking water, of clean drinking water.
Excellent. And you know what? We definitely want to remind each other right now, because this is the last time that that's going to be up there for now, and we'll put it up at the very end. Special $6 health assist by calling in tonight, $19.95 for your Clarify Water ebook, $10 for your 2 Travel Rest Easies, $10 for your 2 Inner Gardens, a $50 discount coupon, and that's good off of any water system?
Yes.
Off of any of the water systems, and you're going to get all of that for $6, which really is just shipping. Special $6 health assist. You get all of that. And I'm going to throw something else in here right now. They can call you and have a 90-minute webinar where you can go in depth just for them, and not a fun talk show like this. It'd be 100% get down to business, eliminate all the confusion. And that 90-minute webinar is free.
Yes.
I know you normally charge for it, but it's free because it's on IM Frequency.
So enjoy.
Thank you so much. So we've only got about 5 minutes left, and I want to get to this question. It kind of amazes me, and here on IM Frequency, we love the stories like this. The little acorn turns into the mighty oak tree. So in other words, the mighty oak tree is nothing more than a little acorn that held its ground, which we opened up our show with. I want you to share the story. You shared it with me before the show tonight about how you moved a megaton tree.
Oak
how
tree.
many miles? Yeah, you got to tell the story how the tree was healthier when you were done after they moved it, please.
Well, this was for the Church of Scientology. They had a great big building called the Flag Building. And basically, they had this beautiful, beautiful 100-year-old oak tree that they didn't want to cut down. So
I don't blame them. I love trees.
So they wanted to move it just a couple of hundred feet, so it's not in the dead center in the middle of the building. And I was in charge of controlling the structure of the water and the nutrition of the tree. And so basically, the trees that did not receive my treatment grew 16 inches for that year. And the tree that got moved, which received my treatment, which also got its roots gradiently cut while I was feeding the tree, grew 36 inches.
Wow, that extra weight had to make the movers not happy.
Yeah. That's
They didn't build that into their budget, did they?
Not exactly. But nonetheless, the tree is still alive, doing well, and they had all sorts of professors says, oh, no, the tree will get into this shock, and for 3-4 months, all the leaves will fall down. Well, none of that happened.
Wow.
Zero. No stress whatsoever. And this very same technology that make that water, that nutrition good, is also in our whole health system. The same product, the same technology. So you can have that in your home, and you can water your gardens, and you can have a better quality nutrition for your plants and animals, as well as for yourself.
Wow, that's amazing. You know, they're telling me we're running out of time, and Mr. Winston, I don't want to leave tonight. Do you, Maureen?
Well, this is pretty good. Plus, I haven't got a chance to ask any questions. So I'm going to have to, he's going to have to tie him up in the lobby, and then I'll get all my questions.
And girlfriend, when have you been bashful? You could have cut me off any time. You're never bashful.
Oh, you're hard to cut off now. But I am going to run out in a minute and make a phone call so I can get that extra $6 deal, because I got to get some sleep easy.
We'll get you some rest easy.
Rest easy.
And
Thank
you know,
you.
I don't want to sound overly enthusiastic, but I've been actually taking the product. We knew he was going to do this show a couple weeks ago, and I started taking product myself a couple weeks ago. And there's a difference between someone who sells something and someone who really believes in the product. And even though I may sound a bit enthusiastic sometimes, I really believe in the product. That's why I've been mentioning it over and over. I've seen Winston. I've known Winston. I've done my due diligence on Winston. I've known you for 3 years now, right?
Yep, sure do.
And you know what? This man has helped more people than I ever even dreamed of. Being a vegetarian, a holistic health enthusiast, as you are too, Miss Maureen, yes. I really believe that if you have an under-the-sink filter system you're researching, if you have alkaline water, and there's so many systems out there, if you have a whole house filter you're looking for, if you just want to get some chlorine out of your pools, please talk to this human being. I'm going to say this one more time. This is a special for tonight, and then we're going to let it go. We're going to let Mr. Winston say goodnight. Our special offer, and this is awesome because you're getting over $100 worth of products here. You're getting a discount coupon for $50. You're getting actual inner garden for your digestive system. Nothing happens until you digest it. As a vegetarian, people think you are what you eat. Pass the sugar, sugar. Pass the honey, honey. Pass the pork, pig. No, you are what you digest, and this stuff is amazing. Rest Easy will not only help you to rest easy, but it absolutely balances our hormones and reduces inflammation. And the book speaks for itself, Clarify Your Water. You get all this for $6. That's just paying for shipping. So please call in on that. And Mr. Winston, thank you so much for coming on. If I were available to be on your webinar, maybe I will be, but for a free webinar, they can call this number as well. Indeed. Thank you so much for coming on. Would you please come back sometime?
I certainly will. Be my pleasure.
How much time do we have left?
How much time do we have left? We have 2 minutes, and it's all yours, good looking.
Hey, all right. No, one of the things that I always think about is the fact that a lot of my friends spend a lot of money on bottled water. I mean, a lot of money. And you know, I still drink a lot of bottled water. But the amazing part is we drink all that bottled water and say, oh, we're getting really healthy. But we jump in a bathtub full of all kinds of fluoride, and where does it go? It goes straight into our skin. It gets into our system. And so
the bottled water isn't that good because 90% of the bottled water is reverse osmosis water. And since reverse osmosis water has no minerals, first thing it gets to leach is the plastic bottle. And yes, number 7s are better. But the other numbers are definitely not okay. So you're still dealing with lesser female estrogen from plastic coming into your body by drinking bottled water. So even when I make my water or make an ice water, I still put it in glass. I don't put it in plastic containers or plastic receptacles. No. I always use glass because that's inert. And it's important that Americans start thinking, in order to protect your body, you need to start reducing the payload of your toxic input. And if we take away anything today, is reduce your toxic input. This is important. This is why you eat organic food. It's not just for the more nutrition. It's really to drop the toxic input.
Wow.
Wow.
Excellent. We all want to drop our toxic input and raise the spirit here at I Am Frequency. Thank everybody for listening. Another Thursday done. See you next time.